Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hi to everyone. We are from Group 2 and today we are going to present the current initiative in environmental related management accounting. First thing first, let me introduce our group members. Me, myself as Nur Atika binti Muhammad Halimi, Nur Syara Najwa binti Abdullah, Nur Ameliawati binti Mat Nasir, and Muhammad Nur Hilmi bin Saiful Azhar. Before we start, I'm going to give you a little bit of introduction about environmental management accounting or EMA. EMA is the process of identification, collection, and analysis for the purpose of making internal decision making for the management. There are two important types of information used in EMA, whether it is physical information or monetary information. Physical information such as the consumption of water, material, and also energy that includes wastage. While monetary information includes environmental related costs, earnings, and also savings. So, EMA is used to provide information needs for corporate activities that can affect environment. And lastly, environmental impacts can come in many forms depending on the type of organization, includes water and power consumption, recycling, and carbon footprints.
My name is Nur Syara Najwa binti Abdullah, and now we are going to look at the importance of environmental management accounting. Okay, so the main importance of EMA is it helps the company to reduce its costs, since it involves a process to identify which activities gives a biggest environmental impact and also cost to the company. This enables manager to allocate environmental costs properly so that it will be priced and managed at an appropriate level. Okay, so the environmental costs can include prevention costs and also internal and external failure costs. Next, it can improve the company's reputation, since a cleaner production process or selling an environmental friendly product will draw the consumers to purchase the product. This is because awareness among the consumers regarding product or service environmental impact does actually influence their buying behavior. The last one is the information by EMA can be used by the company to make a strategic decision, such as tracking the record of flows of energy and materials, including pollution. Okay, more accurate information related to measurement and reporting of environmental performance can also be achieved.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. My name is Muhammad Nur Hilmi bin Saiful Azhar, and I shall be continuing this presentation with an in-depth explanation on sustainable development. Now, sustainable development is an idea that human societies must live and meet their needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Specifically, it is a way of organizing society so that it is able to exist in the long term. Now, this means taking into account both present imperatives as well as those of the future. These imperatives include the preservation of the environment and natural resources, as well as the way social and economic equities operate within the current paradigm. Now, how does sustainable development play into environmental management accounting? In other words, what role does environmental management accounting have to play? Now, basically, it encompasses how developments in cost accounting and accounting measurements and accounting measurement techniques can improve environmental management accounting or EMA, and which can be linked to sustainable development. Now, it is very important to note that the main problem when talking about environmental management accounting is that we lack a standard definition of environmental costs, and therefore an effective method of measuring it. This warrants a need of constant innovation and developments in this field to improve its efficiency and long-term sustainability. Now, these developments in the context of EMA include activity-based costing, life cycle costing, full cost accounting, as well as input and output methods.
Now we'll proceed to the initiative implemented by the company. Hi, I am Nur Ameliawati, and now I will be talking about the first initiative in environmental management accounting, which is environmental reporting. Environmental reporting refers to a systematic and holistic statements of environmental burden and environmental efforts in organizations' activities such as environmental policies, objective, system for the environmental activities, in accordance with General Reporting Principle of Environmental Reporting, and it is published and reported periodically to the general public. Why do we need to implement the environmental reporting? Firstly, it is to motivate the management and employees in encouraging the environmental activities towards them. Employee may not know the detail of organizational environmental conservation efforts, and environmental reporting can be used to train the employee in order to increase their awareness of the environmental conservation efforts and motivate their environmental consciousness. Number 2, it functions to provide information that is useful for decision making of interested parties. Where interested parties make choice among products and services where they want to invest, they need a variety of products information and management information. Information on risk management and environmental information are important in such decision making. Number 3, to establish or revise environmental policies, objectives, and program of business organizations. By disclosing environmental reporting, it is expected the organization will voluntarily improve the content and the quality of the environmental conservation in order to enrich the contents of the environmental reporting. Next is the benefits of environmental reporting. Environmental reports benefit for marketing and stakeholder relations. Customers are increasingly interested in the environmental and social impact of businesses. Producing an environmental report can bring a marketing advantage. It may also help improve your relationship with the key stakeholders such as investors, suppliers, and the wider local community. Number 2, it enhances competitive advantage and improves the company brand image. By adopting sustainability reporting, stakeholders see the firm as a responsible brand and wanted to invest more in your company. The entire group is biased toward the brand that focuses on sustainability. Number 3, reduce the risk of governance and environmental failures. Another perfect example of the benefits of sustainability reporting is the ability to enhance operating efficiency and cut down the risk of failure. When setting the goals of sustainability reporting, the firms need to point out the key performance indicator and monitor schedule. This is to ensure that issues can be stated on the road to the success of the venture will be identified and rectified early.
Moving on to pollution prevention. Now, the International Standardization Organization, Code 14001, which shall be further explained by my colleague in the next slide, defines prevention of pollution as the use of processes, practices, materials, or products that avoid, reduce, or control pollution. Now, this includes recycling, treatment, process changes, control mechanisms, as well as material substitution. Now, when talking about pollution prevention in the context of environmental management accounting, or EMA, it is important to ask the question of how it can be applied in this situation. Now, environmental management accounting actually plays a massive role in how companies tackle pollution prevention or reduction within their business practices, mostly in the efficient application in calculating waste disposal and emission treatment costs. Now, this encompasses the calculation of labor costs, it encompasses the calculation of disposal fees, the purchasing value of wasted materials, so on and so forth. Now, these costs or these calculations are able to instill effective pollution prevention measures and environmental management. Now, when talking about pollution prevention, there are two main categories that we can sum up. The first one is effective waste and pollutant reduction, and the second one is technological improvements. Now, effective waste and pollutant reduction is actually the method that most companies employ when talking about pollution prevention, as it is a very cheap and effective method to employ. It can also benefit the company in terms of profitability. For example, recycling unused materials in manufacturing that can cut down on the need for raw materials. Now, technological improvements encompasses changes in the production process that reduce the amount of output waste. Now, it is actually a very complicated process and requires substantial innovation. This includes, for example, improving filtration systems in factories to cut down on carbon emissions.
Initiative implemented by the company, we have environmental management system that is based on the standard of International Organization for Standardization ISO 14001. It is a non-prescriptive standard that provides managerial framework and guidelines to be integrated in the overall business operation. Environmental management system is to protect the environment and also to respond to any changes in environmental condition to achieve the desired objective. These standards only focuses on 7 key sections that needs to be audited, which is context of organization, leadership, planning, support, operation, performance evaluation, and also improvement. It is developed around the model of PDCA or Plan, Do, Check, Act. Plan is when they identify the activities needed. Do is when they establish the EMS. Check is when they monitor and measure the environmental impacts. And lastly, Act is when the EMS performance is being reviewed. The requirements stipulated in these standards is more flexible and less stringent because it is implemented in different types of industries and different size of organizations. And also employees can implement EMS using their own discretion. There are many benefits of EMS. Firstly, it can lower the environmentally related costs and fees along with increasing the environmental performance. Secondly, the corporate can maintain a good reputation and image. And lastly, the number of customers increase since the high satisfaction is given when environment is being protected.
Okay, so the next indicators is environmental performance evaluation under ISO 14031. Okay, so this ISO set out a process to identify, measure, and communicate the environmental performance using key performance indicators. It includes a process of collection and assessment of data to track their progress in achieving a sustainable economy. It allows the company to improve and demonstrate their environmental performance by providing a transparency information related to the environmental impact. This is actually a repeatable process to compare past and present in order to identify the level of improvement and also ensure any changes are accounted for in its environmental management system. Okay, so the 3 types of indicators include environmental condition indicators, which measures how the company's activities interact or might have give an impact to the natural environment. The second one is operational performance indicators that is used to demonstrate changes to the use of resources related to the operation. And the last one is management performance indicators that is related to the management system, such as cost saving and also improvement in training. Okay, so now let's look into some of the benefits of environmental performance evaluation. Okay, so the first one is it improves the identification and understanding of environmental impact, since EPE involves the process of identify and measurement of environmental performance. Besides, it helps the company to identify which process gives a huge environmental impact, as well as the one that supports efficient use of resources that can be improved and also sustained. Lastly, it supports the implementation of environmental management system, since EPE can help in setting goals and tracking the environmental performance. Environmental performance evaluation is followed by benchmarking, where it guides the company to compare its current performance to the same set of indicators by the competitors. Okay, benchmarking is a framework that involves the identification and importance of best practice to improve the environmental performance. Environmental benchmarking provide a substantial contribution by facilitate the identification of gap between the company and the optimal performance in order to find out and monitor the development of environmental impact. Okay, the scope of benchmarking must include all the company's activities and not only restricted to the activity that have an obvious environmental impact. The benchmarking wheels that describe phases in the ongoing process includes plan, search, collect and observe data, and also analyze for continuous improvement.
Now, I will be explaining on the drawback of EMA. Number one is communications or link between accounting and other departments often not well developed. Different departments may have different goals and perspectives in respect to EMA. For example, they may not have the same perspective on the issue of who is responsible in managing different types of environmental-related costs. Number two is many types of environment-related cost information are not found in the accounting records. Accounting records typically do not contain many information on future environment-related costs, even though the cost may be significant, because accounting system traditionally looks toward the past. Accounting record also lack of other less tangible environment-related costs. And the last one is investment decisions are often made on the basis of incomplete information. In the past, many companies have simply not considered the full range of environment-related costs needed for sound investment decisions making. Organizations need to consider all potentially significant environment-related costs that may influence the return on the investment.
So for the environmental issue, we take the environmental degradation in Kuala Langat. This issue arises when the industrial activities and more than 30 illegal factories operate nearby. It involves recycling imported plastic waste that cause air pollution, water pollution, and also odor pollution. This is because Kuala Langat is a strategic location to dump their industrial effluent. So, what is the impact to the society? Firstly, the community's well-being is being affected. This is due to the air pollution. Muhammad Ali Jamian, 45 years old, who lives in Taman Bakti, said that he and his two daughters developed breathing problems. Secondly, community need to bear and live uncomfortable life in the odor and the noise pollution near the residents. Liu, a resident in Taman Hormat, said that a factory that operates in processing and breeding a chicken is the source of the odor pollution. And lastly, aquatic life is decreased in numbers, especially in Sungai Langat, and therefore, fishermen cannot make living in catching fishes. Based on Rosli Ismail, 50 years old, who is inland fisherman for 30 years, he said that his catch has been reduced drastically, and this is because of the dumping industrial effluents and garbages.
Next, I'll be talking about the challenges that faced by the company. Do you know that Environmental Quality Act 1974 is the most comprehensive regulations that play a role in environmental management in Malaysia? If the company involved in the illegal dumping, there will be fines and compound that will be imposed toward them. However, this depends on the type of pollutions that being caused by the organizations. Next is the additional cost will also be borne by the company if they do not follow the guideline on how to dispose the company waste. In the case of the environmental degradations in Kuala Langat, a battery recycling plant was issued 20,000 compound and forced to shut down its business for causing acid and lead to pollution in the area. The government also stated that there is no need for the changes to be done in the Environmental Quality Act. However, various environmental guidelines was introduced by government for project planner and developers, such as disposal of the solid waste on the land, toxic and hazardous waste management, and also golf course development.
Based on this case, let me suggest a few substantial measures that should be taken by the company in facing this matter. Okay, the first one is through the application of EMA, where the company can make a strategic decision related to the cost and management of environmental effect that is caused by the pollution, such as noise, water, and air pollution. Okay, the data and information by EMA can be used by the company to improve its environmental performance, by implementing the best practice and process. The second one is integrated environmental strategies. Lots of approach can actually be taken by the company in order to reduce the disposable waste that can cause pollution, such as doing a campaign of recycling or implementation of new innovative technology. The last one is a proper control on industry development, where the company should comply with the Environmental Conservation Act and do a research to improve their environmental performance.
Now with that, we have come to the conclusion of our presentation. Now, the industrial boom of the 20th and 21st century has culminated in exponential growth in the capabilities of the human race, and with it has led to innovations and developments in every aspect of our civilization. However, this growth has come at a very heavy detriment to our environment and has been proven unsustainable in the long run, thus warranting check and balance contingencies such as environmental management accounting to ensure that our global corporate practices operate in a productive and environmentally sustainable method. In this presentation, we have given you a comprehensive summary on what environmental management accounting is, as well as initiatives implemented under this concept in terms of environmental management and evaluation, as well as pollution prevention. We have also provided a comprehensive coverage on the challenges that this concept faces, as well as the real-life implementation in terms of our environmental case study. With that, we have come to the end of this presentation. We hope that you have found our coverage on the topic insightful and informative. And with that, we would like to bid you Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and thank you very much for your attention.